Garfield would really love this episode considering all the lasagna that was made. But anyway, this is Kitchen Talk. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Gam. Welcome back to Kitchen Talk, the Hell's Kitchen podcast here on the channel. I'm one-third of your co-host. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And the plot thickens. There's a lot of pasta, and Jimmy doesn't really know what to do with a bowl, but we'll get to that. But first up from 3D Movie Cinema is Jacob Collins. Jacob, how are you?
I just want to say I am the best chef out of this group. I am the best. That is still the funniest thing I've laughed at so hard. Like he's like, and then like when Chef Ramsay just corrects him. It's so funny when he corrects him. He's like, but yeah, that made me a chuckle. I'm doing really well. Really excited because can't say what it is, but we really just had some exciting news in the channel that people are going to find out about soon. Like probably by the time this airs, maybe we will have already done what we said we're going to do. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that by this time we're just celebrating champagne bottles. But yeah, we're excited, and I'm doing really well. I don't know about Matt, saying that Matt's not the best chef on the team.
Well, speaking of Matt, how are you?
Doing good. After this episode, it made me want to have lasagna or any fucking Italian food. It's heavily like Italian food in this episode.
Yeah, this is the pasta episode of the show. There's also a double seating, which we'll get into why that is important. But kicking off the episode, we're reeling off of the elimination of Mary Ellen, and the artist formerly known as Dink takes it about as well as you might expect, because it was her idea to send her up thinking, oh, Andrew's clearly going home, right? Andrew's clearly going home, right? Alas, he does not go home. And Jessica doesn't take it super well. And Ralph is just like, he better be somewhere praying.
Ellen was going to be cut. I really thought it was going to be Andrew.
You know what? He should have been gone.
That guy, boy, if he hasn't seen God yet.
He's probably in psychotherapy right now.
Like, better be seeing a therapist or something. And
better see a psychotherapist.
Part of me feels sad for Andrew, but at the same time, he kind of made this bed, and now he's got to lie in it.
Oh. Dude, he's literally in psychotherapy mode. She's like, fuck, I didn't say a word, fuck. The way he's cussing in some room is so fucking hilarious.
I shut my fucking mouth tonight, and I sucked it fucking up.
Andrew literally has 9 lives. He's like a cat. He has 9 lives.
Yeah, pretty much.
You cut off his head.
And Jessica is very devastated that Andrew got picked over. What's her name again? I keep forgetting her name.
Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen is like, what the fuck?
Why?
Andrew should be eliminated.
I still think, Andrew is like, he's a terrible cook.
Yeah, he is a terrible cook.
He's Italian, and he messed up on Italian food.
I know.
He messed up on spaghetti noodles, spaghetti.
Yeah, they were so in a hurry with putting that spaghetti noodles. Like, oh, jeez. And it got stuck together.
Like, yes, when they said the worst person on their team, the blue team, is Andrew, I agree. When they said the worst person on the red team was what's his name? Jimmy. I agreed. I think that was the one time they actually had a consensus of, yes, this person's the worst. The only thing is, I think, honestly, though, that made me laugh, though, whenever what's his name, whenever they walk out and say, who's the best chef on your team? And
Chris.
Me, chef.
Chef he likes to brag that he could be the best. That just shows you that he is the weakest.
Who's your strongest link?
I believe I'm the strongest chef.
When he said, he says it's very brave of him. When he just says, oh, Chris, it's very brave of you and noble of you to put yourself forward saying that you're the best. Like, I just love that he's just fucking with him going.
It's like, hey, if that's the case, then why are you fucking everything up?
Like, seriously,
Don't you hate when they brag about themselves when they think they're the best but they're not?
If you have to announce that you are the best, you are clearly not the best.
Yeah, like, to be fair, it wasn't Ralph. Like, it wasn't. Who was it that said Ralph was the best? Wasn't it like Jessica or somebody?
No, Ralph called himself the best.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So really it was Ralph, but Ralph actually
can't
can still have some more merit.
I
to
can't
stand on.
necessarily blame him. Ralph is one of the better parts of this entire show, so I can't necessarily blame him for saying that.
Yeah, because Chef Ramsay actually said, "Well, you can stand by your words because you are the best one on that team. You can stand by your words on that one." Chris cannot stand by his words. That's what
No,
Ramsay's
no.
like, really? Like,
You really think you're the best?
there are two other people that are better than you on that team. It's like he says,
Yeah, there are other two people
Elise,
would say otherwise.
Michael. Elise, but Michael's face one is like, what? Like, did he really just say that?
It's like, hey, what the fuck?
Like, that's what
Like,
Michael
are you
was
sure
like,
about that, sir?
Are you sure?
I like this guy. Like, you sure about that? You sure about that?
You really? I mean, like, even Elise was kind of like, oh, like he said.
It's like, I don't know
well-
about that.
Well, after that little bit of banter, we get our challenge, which is a pasta challenge. And basically, it's make the most pasta within, I think it's 5 minutes. I think it might be longer. But Jimmy, poor Jimmy, he's standing there like he has to hold his, like, do the survivor challenge like this. Ramsey is like, Jimmy, you look great as a blonde. And I'm just in like,
Jimmy, you look fucking delicious as a blonde.
interesting thing to say.
I thought that was pretty funny.
It'd be funny if you walked out of like the bathroom with like hair dye, and it's like he's a blonde now. It'd be really funny. If he dyed
Just
it.
watch him bleach his hair. Then that would fit the part.
Then he's
And then
like,
Chris, he gets the pasta treatment. Ramsey just throws flour in his face, and I'm just sitting there like, I wonder how long he's been waiting to do something.
There you go. Arms out. Right.
Something like
Oh,
that.
he's been waiting to do that for a while. Just a way to humiliate him in front of everyone.
because he thinks. I think the one thing that really pisses Chef Ramsay off about Chris is he thinks he's the best cook in the kitchen when he's not. There are 4 other people. If you include all the teams, okay, I would say Jessica on the blue team, Ralph, Elise on the red team, and Michael are way better than Chris.
That's true. They are better than Chris.
I would say he's like literally. I wouldn't say he's the worst.
He has
I would
full
say
of
he's
ego.
like-
He has full of ego in him, dude.
Between Andrew and Jimmy, I would say Andrew's the worst of everyone right now that's still active. Then I would say Jimmy. Then I would say Chris.
Jimmy's not as bad as the other ones.
That's what I said. I said if I had to rank them, who's the worst?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Of everyone that's still around, Andrew's the worst. Then I would go Jimmy. Then I would say Chris. Okay, so I would say you got to get. So I'm like, so compared to like and then I would say like, there's I would say Elise would be the next, and then Jessica. Then I would say like who else is it after Jessica? I would say Ralph. It's between Ralph and Michael. I would say are probably the best. But then also I would say Jessica. I mean Jessica is really also the 3 of them are really like the best 3. Because Jessica, I've never heard really any complaints with Jessica. Neither have I with what's her, and also Elise too. But I think Elise, the only thing is I do see she has sometimes mistakes because she keeps going, I've never done this before. I've never done this before. And I think she really needs to stop saying that because then it's going to make Chef Ramsay look at her with self-doubt. Like if I can't, because the whole point is he's trying to get his next chef. So if I'm sitting there, if you're sitting there saying you've never done this before, you're basically acknowledging that, you're not qualified and that you're not prepared. Like you're going to crack down under pressure.
You're feeling discouraged. That's what she's trying to do.
Cracking down under pressure, and he doesn't want that. He wants you to rise above the pressure. And I think that's the one thing that irks him a little bit because he's like, even the Chris, at least Chris, even though he's terrible, at least he doesn't crack under pressure. He's just like, what do they know? Like, even though that's not good, but still.
Well, the red team ends up winning the pasta challenge. Blue team got 2.41 pounds of pasta. Red got 2.45. And Ralph and Jessica just have a big old moan over that. Like, there's clumps all over that pasta.
Come on! There's clumps all over that pasta.
I know, there's clumps all over that.
And I'm not a chef, so I don't want to assume. I thought that all the pasta looked good to me personally. Clearly, there is a subtle art that I am missing, but just I was laughing at the fact that they're like, my grandmother wouldn't make that pasta. I'm like, sir, you lost. Here,
Here's
Here-
your L.
here
Take
the
it.
L, you may take it, sir.
There you go. There's
wish
it.
everyone
Take
did that.
take the L, Andrew, and fucking move on. You sore
Take the
loser.
L and fuck off.
And take the L and fuck off.
I would have loved if he would have said that. He would have did it. Take the L and fuck off.
I can imagine him saying it.
Probably because in 2005, taking the L was not a thing.
No.
Especially you couldn't do that on cable. Like give the finger on cable. Like,
Unless you blur it out. Unless
Yeah.
you blur out the bird.
And now for something completely different.
Like I remember watching Ace Ventura on cable, and they had to bleep out the middle finger to where they just go like this, where he just do where he's missing his finger, and I'm like,
They did edit out the middle finger for the Matrix movie when it was on TV, and he was like, Neil was like, "Oh, I remember. How about I give you the flipper?" I was like, "What? The flipper?
how about I give you the flipper?
I want to give you the flipper, and
Yeah,
you give
right
me
up
the
there. Right up there with the Die Hard 2 TBS edit of Yippee-Ki-Yay, Mr. Falcon.
Oh, I could raise you one better. So you remember The Shining? Remember the scene in the
Yes.
bathroom scene in The Shining? Whenever because he says the N word, okay, and
yeah.
basically they bleep it out, but instead of just bleeping it or cutting that scene out, they literally just says a ninja. He goes a ninja. He goes a ninja cook, and I'm just like a ninja.
Have you seen the Rush Hour one when Jackie Chan's character said the N word, and instead of on TV, I don't know if I should say it, but we'll talk about that off camera. I can't say it, but he says the other word, but I can't say it.
Yeah, they never cease to amaze, and sadly, it looks
Snakes
like
on a
those
plane.
will never happen again.
Yeah, snakes on a plane. Remember, he says, "I've had it with these hobbly blah blah of these monkey flying snakes on the." It's like, or he's like, yeah, he's like monkey. Like one cut, he's like hobbly blah blah. Or then and then one time he says these monkey flying snakes on this monkey flying plane, and I'm just
You always gotta love the TV edits. The TV edits are always the funniest every time. That's why it's so watchable, even though they never really said that words. But it's so funny that they dubbed it over.
monkey flying snakes. Okay, I didn't see any monkeys in that movie. Okay, especially flying on snakes. Okay,
You're wondering like how the hell did they come up with this censor version of it?
Well,
it's so funny.
in terms of reward, the red team gets to spend the day on a gondola, which, I mean, you're spending the day on like a relatively small boat, and Collins, you know that they would get bigger boats as rewards, but that's further down the road. And the blue team has to make all of the pasta. And then after all of that happens, we see Michael basically just pull out his inner jigsaw and try and make all of the puppets get tied up in their strings. He tries to go to Jessica, be like, "So, blue team, what's it like over there?" And Jessica like just sees right through him. And then Chris and Michael have a conversation, and Michael's like, "You're not going anywhere, pal. You're fine." I'm like, somewhere Dewberry's like, "Oh no, I've heard this conversation before."
It's history repeating itself.
Which Michael straight up told the camera, like, I'm going to I'm going to keep the weakest link and then eliminate the strongest one.
For sure, yeah.
Which that does backfire in the later seasons because he does not do that shit. Like he said, I don't care. Like, because for instance, they're in the later seasons, there are times where they want to keep their friend and they want to put up somebody else that they don't like, and then Chef Ramsay sees right through that and goes, "Nah." He goes, "Your friend had a worse service than you." He goes, "No, you come down." He doesn't just listen to your suggestions. He listens to them, but he won't. He decides what goes in the final end in the end. And so he even one time they were as a team that was not eliminated, and he actually thought the person on the other team was worse tonight than any of them. And so he said that person's name, and the person's like, the person going home tonight is this person. And then the person's like, "I'm not even up for elimination tonight." He said, we won. And he goes, "You, sir, are the worst person on your team, and they're carrying you. Pack your stuff and go."
Yeah,
And
there's
then
a legendary example of that when we get to season 8, Collins. You know the one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to say he does that a lot, Chef Ramsay. And he even has the one time where he goes sort of like, oh, this person and this person. And they walk up there and Chef Ramsay goes, no, go back. He said, why are them? And he goes, because you needed 2 people. And then he goes, nope, get back in line. You two, you and you, come here. I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, or he'll be like, okay, I want to hear from this person as well. You know, like that's literally what Chef Ramsay's not an idiot. He knows when people are just jerking his leg.
The dinner is so booked for pasta night that it's a double seating. So it's up to the red team to decide whether they want to cook or serve first. They ended up cooking first, and it goes about as well as you might expect. Chris gets chewed out like legendarily because he says "we chef," and Ramsey's like, no, you don't give me that pompous crap with me, and it's just I'm just sitting there like, Chris is not exactly great, but I'm pretty sure it was just like reflex. He is an executive chef, so I don't understand what the problem is, but okay.
We chef. Forget the fucking executive yes, we chef. Just tell me yes or no and cut the toss pot bullshit, we chef.
You know what made me laugh though is whenever Andrew was out there taking orders and one of the customers just roast Andrew by saying, "Oh, I'm surprised you're still here." He says, "One customer tell Andrew, I'm surprised you're still here, like because you're so bad at your job. I'm surprised you're still even sitting standing." I'm like, "Damn, Andrew takes it too." I'm just like, wow.
The way that the customers were roasting Andrew was so funny, and it was so funny when Jimmy gets so sweating and nervous around the customers, and one of them called him out like, "You've been sweating like a dog." And every time I hear like Chef Ramsay, he's like, "Jimmy."
He says,
that always made me laugh.
And he goes, "Now go walk. You need some exercise." And they go run.
He said, "Go run. You need some exercise."
He runs up the stairs, that being Jimmy, and I'm just like, yeah, like a man your size, I don't want to be offensive, but like a man your size, you just be careful because you could trip, you could fall, and he ends up like getting all sweaty and all that, which leads to
he drops some of the order sheets. He drops some order sheets on the stairs.
It leads to one of the more slept on Ramsay insults. He looks like a turd in a cloud.
Did you see the one with what made me laugh is then the red team switches out and they try to screw over the blue team by just getting everybody to order lasagna.
Yeah, they were trying to fuck them over the team by making so many lasagnas. It's like, yeah, they're trying to fuck us.
They caught on quick. They're like, oh, like it's so random that they're ordering lasagnas, and then they look over and they're like, they're getting people to order lasagna. They're like, that's our special tonight. Which
I love it when Gordon Ramsay was roasting the blue team, and even especially Jessica and then other people. They're like, "Oh, it looks like dog's dinner."
He says that a lot too in every season.
Yeah,
looks like a dog's dinner.
Looks like a dog's dinner.
I also like that when that customer comes up to the station.
Oh God, I was gonna bring that up. That was so funny. He's like, should I go up to them?
He's trying to give him feedback.
Totally should. Right this way.
He's trying to give him feedback, and he goes, "I'm just trying to give you feedback, and I'm just trying to give you some feedback. You need to lose some weight."
Fine. Anything else?
No. You have a good night.
Yeah, and you. Okay. You lose some weight.
He's like, yeah, good night. Lose some weight.
Here's a feedback.
Wow.
Here's your feedback now. Lose some weight. Like, damn.
He's like, I'm trying everything too. Yeah, good night. Lose some weight.
It was like I was
like he doesn't give a shit. He does not pull any punches with the customers.
I do think that the one thing is, besides Jimmy getting roasted to take a walk for Instagram, I like how the red team is trying to screw over the blue team, and then in the end they still get themselves eliminated because they worried more about screwing over the team than they did cooking a better meal. And Chef Ramsay saw through that. He's like, "You were so concerned." He's like, "You're so concerned on screwing over the other team that you were worried about your performance," and that really sunk in. While the other team, at least, you screwed them, but they had a better performance because even though their meals were better and their service,
the blue team just fucked themselves.
What's really?
And then Jessica just gives a random man a plate of tortellini. I'm like, did he even order that? I mean, I would have probably taken it, but I'm just sitting there like, did he even order that? Like, give the man what he asked for food. Like, don't just give him random food. Like, here, like, what are we doing?
And then, of course, then They shut the red team. Then they shut the kitchen down with still 42 people. I was thinking, oh, the blue team's gone. Like 42 people didn't get served, and I'm like, oh, the blue team is definitely. But they're like, nope, because Gordon Ramsay saw through the red team's bullshit. He goes, I know why you screwed them. That like he knew.
Yeah, the red team, they really screw themselves.
Yeah, because he's like he saw them. Like Chef Ramsay's not an idiot. That's the thing. Like they thought, oh, we could play fun. We could be. Like,
you think like Ramsey is not going to notice that you're trying to screw the blue team over by making so many pastas?
It's like why is like I'm sure that he asked JP why is there so many lasagna? I'm sure JP then he's the chef major. He's the major D. You know, JP is the one that
they were trying to sell that you should have the lasagna to the whole customers.
I'm sure
they were trying to sell it.
He probably wouldn't ask the people. And oh, the red team told me the lasagna is the special. And then I'm sure he told Chef Ramsay. They said that the red team keeps saying that. Which I mean, I would love to just see on camera Chef Ramsay be like, "You need to stop recommending people." Which thing? I mean, really, is it? They're just recommending food, but at the same time, it's
but
like
that was on purpose. Like, hey, we got a special lasagna.
They're doing it to try to overwhelm them to make them not finish. Which that would probably piss Chef Ramsay off, though. You're trying to set them up. You're trying to sabotage.
You're setting it up to fail on purpose instead of trying to impress like Gordon Ramsay. You're trying to fuck over the other team,
which you're also fucking over Chef Ramsay because he's in the kitchen with them.
Exactly. You're putting him a lot more pressure.
And you're also sabotaging customers because you're 42 customers because of their antics that aren't getting fed when it probably would have been like 10 or 20. You know, that probably would have been fed. Instead, it was 42 because of which I'm still shocked. I'm like, the 42. Red team at least finished their meals, but unfortunately, because I think Chef Ramsay says the fact is he was more upset that the fact is that the blue team was taken advantage of.
Yeah.
So I think more upset because he says you literally screwed them over, and that right there took principle.
Yeah, so it really wasn't the blue team's fault; it was the red team's fault. Yeah, they fucked them over.
You put them in an unwinnable position.
Yeah, they did.
Well, then, as Collins has mentioned, the red team ended up losing because even though they did serve more food, every plate was dirty because of Jimmy, and I love Jimmy. I love how Gordon Ramsay says, "Oh no!" Like
dirty dish. It's a dirty dish.
Yeah. I also think because they sabotaged the other team. I think that was uncalled for, and I think that was like his final straw. Where he's like, if they would have just the plates, I think they would have won. But the fact is that they screwed over the red blue team so bad, to where it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna look past that. I'm not.
Yeah.
Michael is named best of the worst. And he ends up sending Chris and
Elise.
Chris and Elsie up for elimination. And Gordon's just like, Jimmy, you are a bullet dodger, a bullet swallower. I'm like, a bullet swallower? Is that even a thing? But okay.
Bullet swallower?
Well, an adult film, that probably is.
Oh, Chris Angel. But anyway, Chris ends up going home, and I felt a little bad because, Chris is not that great, but I feel like he was like one of the least like the boring kind of bad, I guess. Like Andrew should have gone home like 2 episodes ago. Chris, I think, should have stayed. I feel like he could have brought something, but apparently not.
My question is, was it Chris's idea or Michael's idea to screw over the red team?
I think
it was Michael's.
Okay, it had to be Michael, yeah.
Because I was like, maybe he thinks it was Chris the one that his idea was.
No. It was definitely Michael.
I know.
It was an idea.
Michael, but I'm like, I wonder if Chef Ramsay knew that was Michael's decision to screw over the blue team. But I will say this though, I think he did say in his monologue that he said when Chris is saying he's the best chef, and like he said he was just and he keeps eating his own words. That was just an uncalled for. Like I think that's an upset. At least because Elsie is a good cook, and she doesn't say she's a great cook. At least when she makes mistakes, she doesn't say, "Oh, I'm the best of the best." And I think with Chris, it was you keep saying you're the best of the best, and you're not, and you're screwing over, and you keep making mistakes, but you never acknowledge your mistakes. You always blame others for your mistake. I think that was really why he sent him home.
Yeah, and I think that was the
Well-
right decision for Gordon Ramsay's part.
Well, for Where Is He Now, Chris North would return to his restaurant, Rowway Town Seafood, where he had been an executive chef since 2005. In 2019, he gave up his kitchen career, moved to Maine, and is now a furniture maker.
It seems like the people that can't cook just give up their dreams and decide to do other things that aren't. It's just really weird that it's like the people aren't good chefs are the ones that are like, oh, I gave up becoming a chef and now are just
They give up on their dreams so quickly and they switch to different career.
Find
a new line of
Home
work.
Depot now. We used to be a chef, went on Hell's Kitchen. Then now I work at Home Depot. So that's a complete 360.
For sure.
Well, you got to get that Napa know-how from somewhere, but we're coming close to we're whittling things down to the end, and the team aspect is going to slowly go away, and now we're going to get to the Black Jackets, which Collins and I know, but Matt does not know. But we will get to that as we get closer to that. But I passed off to all of you. What did you think of the episode? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. Who do you think is going to win of all of the chefs that you've seen so far? Who do you think is going to win? I know I have my choice. I mean, I know who wins, but just vacuum-wise, no looking at the greater context, I have a feeling of my top 3 of who I think might win. But it's hard because, Collins, you and I have seen this season before, so we know what happens. But just with looking at it from a bird's eye view, it still is okay, these people are strong and they're not. So it's going to be interesting.
So I got small talk coming up, and I got small talk. And I just dropped my review for Final Destination. By the time this airs, my review for Final Destination 3 had already aired, and got up my review for Final Destination 4. And then, of course, Final Destination 5 will be next week, and then I'll eventually get to Bloodline. And then, of course, or I might actually, by the time this airs, I might have actually seen Bloodline. It might mess up the schedule a little bit, but I might do Bloodline, then I might do 4 and 5. But yeah, and then of course we're gonna do this Friday either Final Destination 4 or Batman Beyond. Not Batman Beyond, but Batman Begins. I kind of want to do Final Destination 4 because I just feel like that's a fun movie. It's bad, but it's fun bad, and so I feel like that would. I don't know why. I just want to do. I'm just thinking in my head. I'm like, that would be a fun movie. But yeah, well, I'll let you guys know off camera. But yeah, that's about it. Matt.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Oh, I put up my non-spoiler review for Final Destination Bloodlines. I do small talk with these guys, and which movie that we'll do for Friday for either Batman Materi or the Final Destination 4, whichever. But I am planning on seeing Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning on a Thursday. I might drop my review maybe the next day. It's solved. It all depends. But yeah, that's what will come up soon.
All right, and as far as this channel goes, we got Small Talk every Tuesday, Kitchen Talk every Wednesday. You might want to pay attention to the channel this coming week because one of the biggest videos that I have ever done is going to be dropping. So just keep on the lookout for that.
And we know.
We're not saying anything. However, let's just say the next Road to James Gunn's Superman video is going to be the biggest one yet, and we're just going to leave it at that. But stay tuned to the channel for that. Hit subscribe, click the bell. We would greatly appreciate that. But for Jacob Collins, for Matt Wyatt, my name is Ryan Cam. Be sure to tip your waitress and... Get out!